Leo couldn't breathe. Luke stood in the dock awaiting sentence. In the weeks since his son had pleaded guilty to racially aggravated criminal damage, he'd been plagued by dreams of this very moment. In Leo's nightmares, the facts warped, distorting, so that Leo himself was sent down, or Ange led away, or the charge became murder, treason, the sentence, death by hanging. Leo had woken from those dreams in a clammy sweat, his heart thudding, knowing he would not sleep any more. He'd lain awake, listening to Ange breathing for as long as possible, then quietly made his way downstairs, sat in the armchair with a mug of tea, and watched the dawn arrive. Ange, beside him now, was gripping his hand so tightly it had gone numb. She was strong, her work as an artist often manual, physical, shaping stone and metal and wood to realize her vision. Leo didn't look at her, couldn't face seeing her sorrow, her distress. That would undo him. Already he struggled with the pressure behind his eyes, the raw ache in his throat. Luke affected a blank expression, eyes 1,000 miles away. But the pallor of his complexion, the way he picked at his nails, the ripple of his throat as he swallowed, showed how scared he was. Leo had attended Crown Court on many occasions for his work. Jury trials often, charges of murder or manslaughter. Leo's role as detective was to lay out the evidence acquired during an investigation, build the story of timelines and eyewitness testimonies, forensic evidence, of motive and opportunity and responses in interview, to defend the integrity of that evidence and explain to the jury how it amounted to proof of guilt, doing his best to address any doubts the jurors might harbour. But now, here, today, he was simply a father waiting for the judge to make her decision, feeling helpless, mute, with no power to affect the outcome. How has it come to this? He asked himself for the umpteenth time. How did his child, their child, who'd always been loved and sheltered and cared for, who had changed them from a couple into a family, who'd been raised to question, to learn, to create, to understand, how did this child become a vandal and a hater at only 21? Yes, Luke was groomed, along with his friend Jack, who was up on the same charges. Jack's parents, Rose and Trevor Sheringham, were sitting on the row below. Rose had greeted Leo with a look of bitter animosity, eyes flinted and mouth screwed up tight when they'd arrived in the court foyer. Her husband had placed a restraining hand on Rose's shoulder and steered her aside, avoiding an ugly scene, Leo guessed. The two lads had been recruited by an older man, Christopher Hurst, fed a diet of misinformation and conspiracy theories directed to websites where they could learn the truth about their country, the threat to their white race, and how to act as patriots. This worldview casting them as victims, feeding their insecurities, offering brotherhood and a common cause. All those years when Leo would catch sight of his boy, and his heart would swell, his spirits rise, but more lately that initial leap of joy had been followed by a lurch, stomach plummeting because things weren't right. Luke had changed, withdrawn,